got grounded last night in Denver. Welcome to the Flying Pigskin Show. Oh, what a lineup we have today. Hello again. I'm Ken Broo, joined by the now seemingly mythical Mr. Satin. Satin, I'm watching this game last night.
Yeah.
It's like they all went out to Burger King at halftime.
I don't get it. You know, was the playbook used up? What's going on? You know, Hugh Jackson, he's looking like the man. AJ's looking like the man. And we just took the foot off the gas. We can't do that with this team.
AJ Green, 5 catches, 47 yards, 1 touchdown in the first half. AJ Green finishes with 5 catches, 47 yards, and 1 touchdown. They only threw to the dude 3 times in the second half.
You can't handle AJ Green, and why do you stop going to him? He's the bell cow because, like you said earlier, we can't run the ball.
I think what happened is Denver was nose to nose with him, one-on-one. Something happened that second half. They slid safety help to him, whatever, and they say, okay, you throw to Marvin Jones, you throw to Mohamed Sanu. They're not going to beat us. A.J. Green can beat us. And even though Phillips loves man-to-man coverage, I think he bit the bullet and said, okay, I'm gonna switch this up here a little bit. We're going to get to Rodney Heath in just a second, but Satin, we are on the internet 24/7, 365. You can find any of these shows anytime, anywhere, anyhow. And we've got an app now. You hear about this app?
Yes.
You know about these smartphones, right?
Oh, they're everywhere. They're omnipresent.
Right. I got mine. I left mine at my desk. But the fact is, you get one of those apps, the WCPO app. You hit that thing, and after I think Steve Raleigh greets you when you hit that. He says hi, and it's personalized.
Nice.
Hi, Mr. Satin. And then you can go right to this show and watch it live. It's on iTunes. It's everywhere. It's omnipresent.
It is. Why not? It's perfect.
So anyway, I want to talk about this game last night, but I want to figure out exactly what Denver did to A.J. Green in that second half. There's no better authority on defensive backs in this city than the only player from Western Hills High School to ever play in the NFL. He's a guy who is mythical, godlike in the state of Minnesota, and he's our very own Rodney Heath, who joins us now by Skype. Rodney, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. How you doing, fellas?
Is that a picture of you behind you? Is that a picture over your shoulder?
Of course, man. It's a picture of me. I started to wear the uniform, but, I didn't want to scare anybody today.
Over the shoulder.
Yeah. No. So Green, 5 catches, 47 yards, a touchdown in the first half, and then basically he turns into Claude Rains. He's the invisible man of the second half. What did Minnesota do differently to defend him in the second half? Did they do anything?
In Denver. Okay, now here's the thing. Wade Phillips, I actually had a chance to play under him one year in Atlanta. And one thing that he prides himself on is a 2-man coverage, which they were running. A lot of man-to-man, put safeties over the top. They ran a little bit of that in the first half where, McCarron, AJ got out and he had a couple runs. But here's the thing. If you want to take the best guy away and make them use Jones or make them use Sanu, that's the best thing they had to do. And Denver, there's a reason why they're one of the top defenses in the league. So, at halftime adjustments, that's simply what it was. We're going to make Jones and Sanu beat us.
And I'll tell you something else, too. That touchdown pass that Green caught, that was inches from being a great play by Aqib Talib. It is a game of inches. And McCarron, I think, rolled the dice there, and he won. But you throw that same ball 4 or 5 times, it may not be caught. Right.
I think McCarron actually – AJ's been playing pretty well as a quarterback. I'm talking about McCarron's. He's been playing pretty well for it being his second start. He looked poised. He made some smart plays where he threw the ball away. He didn't do anything until the end as far as dropping the ball. I thought he played pretty well for the most part.
That second half, though, is it just that we ran out of plays? I don't understand why he wasn't slinging it the second half like he was in the first.
Well, I think they were trying to hold on to a lead. I think they also were thinking, well, if we're going to keep Denver's defense off the field, keep their offense off the field. That's one thing that they were trying to do. Also, it could have been anything. They could have thought they saw the adjustments, and they tried to go to Jones a little bit more, and it went like AJ in the fourth quarter, with 3-4 minutes left in the game, where it down to Sanu. So it looked like they were doing some things, and they were able to make some plays, but they just couldn't finish in the end.
Hey, I was going over some of these stats. This team can't run the ball. Flat out can't run. They played, by my count, if you include Pittsburgh as a potential playoff team, which Steelers, it's a little dicey, but they played 3, 6, 7 games against teams that are playoff teams. At Denver, 3.3 yards a carry. Arizona, 3.5. Seattle, 3.5. Pittsburgh, 3.4. Houston 3.5. Now, they ran the ball well against Pittsburgh here, 4 yards a carry, but they had, I think, a total of 2 carries accounted for 30 yards of a 66-yard effort. 2 carries, 30 yards. Didn't run the ball there. They ran the ball well against Kansas City early in the season. If this team can't run any better than what it's run against these playoff teams, it's going nowhere in the playoffs. I'm just telling you, you got to run the ball. This team can't run the ball. What's the problem with that, Rodney?
Hey, I agree with you on that one. I don't know if it's the offensive line. I don't know if it's Hill and his decisiveness. I mean, trying to figure out how he wants to run the ball. You can't expect Gio to be that guy. I mean, not taking anything away from him. He has not the size in order to carry for, 25, 30 times a game and get 150 yards a pop. So they're trying to do that two-headed monster. But in the end, it comes down to, can you open up the holes? And, in the beginning, the offense was doing well protecting guys, but now we're talking about being able to push people off the ball, and I don't know if that's the case for them right now.
They looked gassed in the fourth quarter. Didn't you think so, Satin? They looked like they were just gassed in the fourth quarter.
They were all ready for naps. And, that quick hit offense, keeping them high pressure, go, go, go. We couldn't cycle any of our defensive linemen out, and it showed.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever play out in Denver or out there in that area of the country, Rodney?
Nah, I actually been out there. I actually worked out for that team once when I left Cincinnati, and I can tell you the altitude had a lot to do with that. I mean, I don't care how long you're out there, if you're out there for a week or whatnot. You can't get used to it. It's just too soon, especially that's why Denver came back, and they wanted to get some momentum going, and they tried to go hurry up, which they knew they had the advantage in that sense. So you always try and use your home field advantage. That's why it's so key for Cincinnati to get that home field advantage or that number 1 seed. And, if Denver gets it in the end, somebody got to go back there and play them again.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, for medical reasons, they limited the amount of snaps that Geno Atkins took last night. Atkins, again, I think Atkins is one of the great defensive linemen in the game. Didn't show up on the stat sheet. I mean, didn't even show up as a tackle or anything. So, I mean, obviously there's an issue there if they have to go back out there. Now, let me ask you this, because this is key, Rodney. It appears that Denver, if you want to play the odds, will get that second bye in the AFC. You got to come back then and play in the playoffs a week from this coming Saturday or Sunday. You won't have Dalton back. I'm convinced they won't have Dalton back for that game. And I don't know about McCarron's wrist injury at this point. No one seems to know about it. This is serious business now at that position. What do you do if you're the Bengals, knowing that you're going to have to play again probably in about 13 days in a playoff situation, and your quarterback situation is in flux? If you're the Bengals, what are you doing right now? Can you do anything at that position?
Well, I think one of the reasons why they signed who is it, Keith Winning?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been there the whole season. It wasn't like they were going to try and bring in a guy to try and learn that system that quick, because that would limit them than what they can do. At least with this guy, if they bring him in, if they have to go that route, because we're still looking for the MRI for AJ. I mean, the one thing you can do is you're not going to go any lower than the 3 seed. So you're going to have a home field game. I don't know. If you want to play how you see, if AJ can play and they go through against Baltimore, we'll see how that go. But right now, with Winning, I mean, he knows the system. And like you said, I mean, maybe they can have a lot more to do as opposed to bringing in somebody who wasn't in the system.
But this is a double-edged sword because, on the one hand, if he's got if there's anything really wrong with that wrist with McCarron, you probably don't want to risk injury. But this guy's only going to get better by taking more reps in a game. He has to see game situations. So if you're Marvin Lewis, are you torn this week? Do you simply punt against the Ravens and say, look, this game doesn't mean anything. We're going to be no better than a 3 seed most probably. I'm going to play Weddington, and I'm going to just keep my guy and get him healthy for the playoffs. I mean, do you even go down that road?
Well, I would look at it first. If they come back and they say it's a possibility that he can play, and you want to see how it starts out, yeah, you can probably play him. Me personally, I wouldn't play him. I would just go ahead and just go with what we do and see how everybody else plays, because I'm a play for that. We're not going to get the buy-in. I mean, we can say that, if he was well, yeah, we're going to play to see if we can still get the buy.
Right.
But right now, you're going to have a home game, at least one. Even if you had to buy, you're going to have one game. Plus, you're going to get AJ. I mean, possibly get Dalton back.
Right.
So right now, I mean, you got to just see how this MRI come out.
Right.
And if it's not as bad, then you can say, okay, we can take the chance with him. But if it's one of those minor things, I mean, mid to major things, then I wouldn't risk it.
All right, so when we have you on again, Rodney, the frame picture behind you, maybe you put me up back there?
Hey, man, whatever you want, man. I can put you up there.
Good.
I actually put my dog next to me and get a picture of you and put it on his face. How about that?
Oh, what? What? Get out of here. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Rodney Heath.
Thanks,
Put a
Rodney.
picture on his dog.
Later, man. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, let's introduce the backbench so everybody knows who's back there, because this is the nerve center of the operations. These shows always run smooth. But Mike Strotman is available to direct. There he is in the middle there. Matt Lukin's not available, and that's always a good thing. Ron Hoffman to screen right. He's twinkling the ivories, and to his left, somewhere, the Smith family is missing a cough drop brother, and we have him right here, Brian Neese. Good to see you, Brian.
Yes.
And then all the way to the far right, screen right, is the beauty of the operation. That would be Libby Duber.
Yeah, there she is.
Libby, there she is.
No cannon, but we're good.
Libby, what did you think of Johnny Manziel's latest video? Apparently he's rapping in a video with a can of something in his hand.
Oh, yeah.
A can of something.
Yes.
Well, I thought it was fantastic.
I didn't see
being
it.
the brainwashed Browns fan that I am.
Right.
I can't lie.
You're all in on Manziel, aren't you?
Pretty much.
Yeah, he had a sweater on that said Mary Manziel on it, too.
Wow.
Did he really?
So was this some like Snapchat that got out there, or what's the deal there?
First of all, if you've got a history of that and you've been told not to do it, why do you keep doing it?
Well,
it's almost like a death wish.
You know, it's like these these straws keep coming out, right? And it's like, here's the last one. No, but we have a game this week. Well, here's the last one. So what are they going to do? They have to start them against the Steelers.
Of course they do.
Yeah,
of course they do. Somebody, one of the safeties up there tweeted something out this week. Will somebody or other? I don't know. All their players seem to be named Will.
One of those Wills.
Anyway, he tweets out after last week's game. He says, "I think we found our future quarterback." And I answered back. I said, "Yeah, he'll be taken with the second pick in the draft next April."
That's true. Which there's not much out there for quarterbacks either. So that's.
You guys ready to get reaction from Denver?
Yes.
We have him on the phone now.
Him would be Lionel. Lionel, is Lionel on the phone?
Yeah, Lionel. How did you pronounce your last name, Lionel?
Oh, nice.
Bienvenue, guys.
Bienvenue.
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 French. Hey.
Lionel, weren't you on CNN or something? Or am I hallucinating?
Actually, I worked at a Fox Sports Net back from 97 to 01.
And did I see
out
you?
In Los Angeles? So I was on the Fox Sports Net primetime show, and yeah.
I thought so. Did I not?
Where you remember it?
Did I see you on Los Angeles television too?
Well, I was on Fox Sports West out there hosting their show for a couple of years as well. So
Gotcha.
we were based out of LA. We did a national show, sort of like an ESPN Sports Center, and yeah, that's probably where it is.
No,
you never know.
You know, it is. I got the. Have you heard about this dish thing you can get? You can put a dish on your roof, and you get like all these NFL and Fox channels. Anyway, I got that.
Bo Diaz.
And Lionel, I have no life. I go home like about 11:30, and I just watch sports until like 5 a.m. and then I pass out. But that's where I saw it.
Doesn't everybody do that? Is that
Hey.
Is that something that's not common?
I think that's the norm for me, right?
Sure.
It doesn't matter whether you sleep; it's whether or not you can pass out, right?
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
why.
I thought here's what I don't know if you've been listening. Here's what we've been talking about, and I don't know what happened at halftime there last night, but was something said in the locker room, because the Broncos in the second half looked like the Broncos as billed. In the first half, they looked like 11 guys named Fred. What happened to that defense after halftime?
Well, I tell you what, they had been a terrible second-half team throughout the month of December. In fact, they had not scored a point. The offense had not scored a point in the second half of the previous 3 games. Outscored 36-0 in the second half. And when they came out, and they had a 12-0 lead against the Raiders in the first half, lost that game. Mm-hmm. They had a 27-10 lead over the Steelers in the first half, lost that game. It looked like it was going to be the exact opposite. They came out in the first half last night, and the Bengals, I mean, look, almost dead solid perfect. You know, it was amazing. The missed field goal is what I think killed the Bengals there. If it had been 17-0, would have been a huge difference, but it ended up 14-3. So what happened in the locker room is Gary Kubiak went in there and said, guys, I preached all week about a strong second half. We got to have a strong second half. We've had a terrible first half. We have got to come out in the second half and play football. We have got to. We cannot lose this game. We cannot lose 3 in a row going into the season finale in San Diego. John Elway told me he wants kicking and screaming at the end of the season, not the beginning of the season. You can't start 7-0 and miss the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
We got to have this thing. And Broncos defense, like you said, came out and just dominated the second half. Brock Osweiler came out, from 14-3 to a 20-17 overtime victory. The Broncos just decided that they could not lose this game, and they came out and played like it.
Well, it's interesting. Osweiler, I was impressed with. I know he's got limited experience out there, but he threw to 9 different receivers, which tells me that he sees the field very well. I know he's a tall quarterback, and that there's some advantages in that. But he seemed to be poised, saw the field well, and apparently he's playing hurt. As you look at Osweiler and going forward, I think Denver's going to wind up with that second seed. Is this the kind of guy you think can carry Denver deep into the playoffs?
Well, that's the question everybody is asking here. And with Peyton Manning saying over the weekend that he had a good week last week, he plans to get back to practice. He wants to be able to get into a game here. I just don't see that happening because of Brock's performance last night. Brock is 4-2 now as a starter. Peyton hasn't played in 6 weeks, so you got to go with Brock. I think we'll see if he can carry you deep in the playoffs. But his performance last night in the second half, guys. This is a kid making his 6th start. He got in there. Bengals had the number 3 overall defense. Broncos were number 1. This was a huge defensive battle. But to lead the team to 2 second-half touchdowns and then lead them on a drive in the fourth quarter, and they missed the walk-off field goal at the end of regulation, but they could have won it in regulation right there with a field goal. And then he leads a great drive again in overtime, drives them down. They get the field goal. So as I said, his record's 4-2, and he looked poised. His quarterback rating was 100. There's no way, even if Peyton Manning is ready, that you make that quarterback change. I think it's Brock's team from here on out unless he gets injured, and he does have a sore shoulder, a sore left shoulder. Could be separated, but it obviously doesn't affect his throwing. He also has a sore left elbow, not on his throwing hand. So you got to ride Brock into this thing and see what they got, because I think the end of the road here is coming for Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I think, last night, that's the future for Denver right there. A couple plays here or there, I think the game goes either way. But I think it's time to have that talk with Peyton, and I think you set him down. I think he's done. You push him, you say, let's retire, go out a winner.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If Brock gets knocked out of the game and you got 18 on the sideline ready to come in and save the day and run the shotgun and a 2-minute offense and yell Omaha, great. Rest out Peyton if he's ready, and if you need him, bring him in. But there's no way he starts the game. Brock is the guy from here on out. And we'll see. Both these teams are going to be in the playoffs. I don't know if Dalton's going to be back for the first round. Apparently not. McCarron obviously got hurt on the last play for you guys. So there's a lot of question marks here as we approach the final week of the season and then the postseason as well. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens here in the AFC for sure.
Hey, Lionel, speaking of the last week, you guys got the Chargers at home. 2 of the home losses for the Broncos have been against division rivals, Chiefs and Raiders.
Right.
Do you see any worry? Is there any worry about that? Or the Chargers are obviously a little down this year, but it's a huge game still.
Yeah, look, this is not a Chargers have nothing to play for kind of thing. That's a bunch of BS, because Phillip Rivers comes in here and has success against the Broncos in the past at Mile High. So, yeah, this is what they need. They clinched the 2 seed, a first-round bye, and a home playoff game if the Broncos win this game. There's a lot riding on this thing. And Phillip Rivers, and they got a former Broncos coach leading the way over there as well. He's playing for his job. This is going to be a tough game at home for the Broncos. This is no gimme, so they've got a lot to play for. Most of the players last night said, hey, look, we're going to celebrate this one. We're in the playoffs. We broke the losing streak. But we're going to think San Diego starting tomorrow, because there's still so much to play for here in the second half or the last game of the season. So this is not going to be easy, but that's what the NFL is about, guys. If it was like, oh, yeah, Broncos are going to beat the Chargers, get the 2 seed, everything's fine. No, They got to come out and play for it, and that's what's the beauty of sports, is that you get down to the end of the season, and you got a game with some meaning here to wrap things up.
Lionel Bienvenu from our station, our Script station out in Denver, Channel 7. Check him out. We don't often get big-time, big city, big deal network guys on this show, Lionel, so we appreciate you stopping by and talking to us.
Well, neither do we. So it's a pleasure to speak with you guys. And look,
I guarantee you, if I'm on your show later today, I guarantee you won't have them then either. So.
Well, look, hopefully we meet up again here. Who knows what's going to happen? But the beauty of the playoffs is anything could happen. And what A.J. McCarron? Wow, what an impressive first half.
Yeah.
Last night, you had to feel good about that. But what's the outlook there? Is Dalton going to be ready in round one? Is McCarron injured? Who's going to start this thing?
Marvin Lewis treats injuries like the Valachi papers. Nobody gets his. But honestly, I'd be shocked if Dalton is ready. And McCarron, it's his left wrist. If it's not broken, I think he'll probably play.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
After that, I think you might be looking at the Josh Freemans of the world. I mean, they've got to might have to do something. Lionel, hey, thanks for your time, man. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Good luck. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
I
Lionel.
hope so.
Take care.
Can we see that? I want to see the AFC North roundup because I think this is. I'll tell you why this is interesting. I mean, the Bengals they won the division. They're done. I mean, they're 11-4. And by the way, I can't believe the number of broken ankles, pulled hamstrings, and Achilles tears today from everybody jumping off the Bengals bandwagon. I actually had one guy tweet me. He said, you know what? This team should be 13-3. I'm done with them. I said, dude, they're going to be 12-4. Baltimore has got Ryan Mallett at quarterback. Do you remember, or was it last year or the year before? Mallett starts for Houston, smacks the Browns around everybody. The next week, the Bengals play the Texans, and it was a deep beatdown on Ryan Mallett. So.
It's terrible too because you talked a little bit about, hey, take it easy and rest some guys. That is just a recipe for disaster. I mean, we saw it with the Jets a couple years ago too.
I know.
We took it off. We said, hey, we'll get you in the next week, and you get slaughtered. It's ridiculous.
Right.
You play the game, you get a paycheck. Do it. Go for it.
I think
win them all.
Steelers beat the Browns. I think they beat the Browns this week. The big question is, do the Jets have what it takes to go to Buffalo? Because Rex Ryan is waiting up there with a skillet just to hit him upside the head. So.
Well, what a game the other day with the Patriots, and I think I've been calling that all year.
You have
Look for that game. So I think the Jets get in. I like their chances, and you know what? Bring him here. I think we got him this year.
So then we got the playoff picture, right? We got the way. I want to look at this too because.
I need some explaining here. What's going on here?
Colts are done. Texans are going to win, and they're going to get in as the 4 seed. Chiefs will be the 5. It's either the Jets or the Steelers. I just got a sneaking suspicion it's going to be Pittsburgh. I really do.
Really?
I think Pittsburgh goes to Cleveland and wins, and I think the Jets get smacked in Buffalo.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, I don't know who I'd rather play. I mean, the Fitzpatrick's having, he's one of the hottest quarterbacks there is right now,
and he'd be motivated coming back here. Pittsburgh. The only thing about Pittsburgh is their secondary is maybe the worst secondary in the history of football. I'm not sure Satin and I couldn't line up and catch at least 4 or 5 balls against them.
I'd like to see Satin roll over Mike Mitchell. That's what I'd like to see.
Satin, could you actually run 5 yards?
Here's the thing. I can be beat on the deep ball.
You could.
But 5 to 10 yards, I'm unstoppable.
I mean, you look at the way the Steelers. You ever see the way the Steelers line up for in pass coverage? Like their corners are like 10 yards off the ball, and their first step is backwards.
Yeah, and it's just saying, hit me on a short route every time. It's just burnt toast.
Yep.
Yeah. There it is. There's the AFC playoff picture. The NFC playoff picture is much more defined. Your wild cards are the Vikings and the Seahawks. Well, the Vikings could win their division with a win over Green Bay this coming Sunday night. So,
that'd be real good.
So there's no changes there. Those are the 6 teams for sure.
Right. It's just whether or not the Packers or the Vikings win the division.
Watch out for Cousins.
Watch out for the Seahawks.
Yeah, well,
because I think the Seahawks may be the best wild card of the 4 that are in there, even and all due respect to the Chefs.
The Chefs. Yeah. Hey, I think we got the Chefs. Manziel almost won that game yesterday, or 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Against the Chefs, he looked pretty good.
You got to be out of your mind.
It was close.
He looked like he was on cold medication.
You know what? I am.
They should have killed him, and they didn't.
We'd like to welcome into the proceedings our Director of Engineering here, at WCPO and WCPO.com, a huge Broncos fan, Doug Houston. Hello, Doug.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here in Houday Nation.
Is that a little flavor strip?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I didn't shave this morning, so I kind of left that there.
Fruit stripe.
like
Doug
a
over there.
You know, they just found me walking the halls. I really don't work
look
here.
like
I
you.
was just roaming the hallways, and Mike invited me in.
Yeah.
I'm here for the real McCoy, who's out on a little vacation time.
Right.
And
You
you
look
know,
like you drooled your Flintstones vitamins.
I think I did. I think I got stuck there, and it just I didn't wash it off.
You're a lifelong
like an
Bron-
orange
Absolutely.
Lifelong Broncos
Worked the
fan.
games many years.
Yeah.
Know a lot of players back in the OA days. So it was a tough thing to watch last night for everybody, I think. And you know the
Not for
Broncos.
you.
Well, at the end they pulled it out, you know.
Yeah.
But I think their defense was really harassing McCarron there at the end, and you know Osweiler had a lot of time, and there you go.
Well, but here's
You know?
here's the thing about Osweiler, and I like Osweiler, big
Yeah.
tall guy.
Yeah.
I think he looks like he's a great leader.
He played with Jack Elway at Arizona. That's how John met him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, John's son played there, and that's how he met Brock.
Well, my point being is this is Elway's guy.
Right.
So, I mean, all this stuff, is Peyton Manning going to be back? Is he not going to be back?
Doesn't
if
matter.
If this dude
Yeah.
goes and wins a playoff game,
Yeah.
Peyton Manning's not coming back.
No, not for
He may
sure.
not be coming back now, but he's definitely not coming back.
You know, one of the greatest QBs of all time, but a 38-year-old, 39-year-old body, and you know he gave it all out this year. But Brock's young. He's got ability. He can move in the pocket. Not the fastest, but can run upfield. And you know he made the plays he had to yesterday. And our offensive line hadn't been the best. You know, it's been pretty bad this year.
That
But
Schofield dude is not good.
But you know, somehow Kubiak and Wade Phillips made the adjustments, and the Bengals just couldn't quite, you know, put it together in the second half.
One or two plays, it's
Yeah.
going in the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
We win that game last night. We play it at home.
You kicked that field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, Bienvenu said it. They
Yeah.
kick that field goal. They make that field goal. They go
Yep.
up 17-0 ball
Absolutely.
game.
I thought
think
that's
that
where the
team
game
folds.
changed.
Yeah.
But you know, the Broncos needed that, or they were out. They were going to lose the division,
Right.
And they would have not had a playoff. So that was their must-win. It really was their must-win.
Here's a question, because you lived out there.
Yeah.
I thought the Bengals looked gassed in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
Is there is something to that, but I guess if you live
Totally.
out there, as the Broncos do, you get used to it and you train in it. But you're going out there in the middle of December, and it's cold.
Yep.
And it's thin. And I'm looking at these defensive linemen on a knee with about 3 minutes to go in that fourth quarter. I'm saying they're done. They're just done.
You know, I told Mike this earlier. If you go in the visitors' locker room as you're walking out, it says, "Welcome to the My House City, 5,280 feet." So they're already playing on your mind before you walk out on that field. You talk to the Raiders, you talk to any of the AFC West that go in there all the time. They have to plan for that. And you called it, Ken. You know, it's late in the season. You're in Mile High. It's cold. You're at high altitude, and sure, they were gassed.
Everybody's sucking oxygen or vaping or something on the
and that's why Osweiler was signaling to Kubiak, faster, get him in here.
Right.
Now, the defensive player for the Bengals, you know, he pulled his leg up.
Yeah, right.
Broncos
Echo.
fans caught onto that right away, started booing him. But Osweiler was saying, get in quicker. I got to keep going here. I got him. So he knew, you know.
The hit on C.J. Anderson, where he coughed the ball up in the fourth
Yeah,
quarter.
oh, wow.
When that
Great hit.
happened, I said, if the Bengals are going to win, they'll win it right here.
Yep.
Because this is their break right here. And they couldn't do anything. They were just, they can't run the ball. Denver's got a great defense. They couldn't run the ball on Denver. And everybody's saying, well, if we wind up going out there again, it might be I think the Bengals caught a great break last night with the weather. I mean, it was cold, but there was nothing else going on. You know, that you go out there in weather. If you go out there when it's snowing or it's raining or it's sleeting or something like that.
Pat's game. It was snowing. Yeah.
Right. I think that's the danger of going to Denver at this time of the year. And I thought they caught a break. I'm not sure they catch that same break going out there again in January.
Well, yeah, you know, and look, it just comes down. I think it comes down to even Bronco country and down here in Houday Nation. It comes down to the playoffs. Nobody cares about that last game. What are the Bengal fans want to get in the playoffs and win.
Right.
Same with the Broncos.
Right.
But it's going to be tough if they got to go back into Mile High. I don't know how it'll play out. You know.
Right.
But it's going to be tough for them to go back in there.
I see no way that Denver lets down against San Diego. First of all, I think San Diego is kind of a dog team this year. but I don't see how San Diego goes in there and beats the Broncos now. Not knowing if Denver knows, I get a week off. You know, I get the guy that's playing with one arm. Maybe he gets healthy. The guy that's playing with 1 foot, maybe he's available right now. But I don't think there's
Phillip Rivers, though.
We
He's
have
a gunslinger. He can put points
yeah,
up.
but I mean, where was it? Kansas City beat him like 33-3 or something like that. Yeah. I mean, Phillip Rivers has laid some eggs in his time.
Yeah.
And we have a breaking news update here. His MRI came back as a sprained wrist.
Yeah.
Should be fine to play.
Well, that's good news.
So yeah,
it is
that
good
is
news.
good news.
Yeah, and he was. You look, they were hot the first half.
Yeah.
They were on fire.
He throws a nice ball.
I thought it was over. But you know, again, Kubiak and Wade Phillips made some adjustments, and it worked. You know?
I think we ran out of plays. I really think
Yeah.
there's a
that's
limited
crazy.
playbook. We ran them all in the first half.
Right.
We tried to
Yeah.
run them again in the second half, and there's no way.
the two
People are
things-
too smart in the NFL for
Well,
that.
I did see a thing on Twitter that apparently Hugh Jackson at halftime was calling Bill Cowher to see if he had any plays left over from when he was at Pittsburgh.
Here we
He got
go.
anything left over.
Yeah. Well, we got
Cowher
That's
wasn't
great.
available.
sweep left.
Well,
Yeah, we
just-
did that one.
And you know, I think fundamentally the Bengal receivers, they got a better receiving core than the Broncos. They really do. But there was just something with the way the zone coverage, and look, there's some talented Bronco players there, you know, in the backfield. And they just made the zone work, and I think McCarron was not seeing what he was seeing the first half, and he didn't have the time because finally, you know, there was a pass rush on the Broncos' part.
And what about some play action? I mean, we sit there, dive.
They can't run. That's why there's no play action.
Well, you know what? You get one hit on the guy goes down, Jay Hill. I mean, that's not acceptable either.
No.
You know, so I don't know. You keep. I think too. We got that third down. We missed the field goal right before that. We do a little play action and hit it deep. We got guys stopping on routes. I don't know. 1 or 2 plays, like I said.
Yeah.
Not good.
One of the biggest
Absolutely.
things I thought was they came out in the second half and scored a touchdown. That was a confidence builder for them. They went to a hurry up. That screwed the Bengals up. They were, you know, making third downs. And in the first half, they were stopping them. It was 3 and out. And so that was a huge difference in the second half.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. You know, the one thing that beat the Broncos beat the Patriots with, and they beat the Bengals with, was C.J. Anderson's running ability.
Yeah.
He makes those runs. He gets outside. He breaks some tackles. He's not that fast, but once he gets in the open field, he's a pretty low center of gravity, and he's gone. And that's how they beat the Patriots too.
So you work these games when you're out there TV. Who's the head coach out there? Dan Reeves?
It was Dan Reeves, and then when I first started working the games, it was Wade Phillips. After Dan left, Wade, you know, and you know, from there it moved on to where Shanahan came in, you know, and Shanahan was the two-time Super Bowl winner, and of course you had you know, Kubiak was playing backup to John, and a good backup quarterback. In fact, you know, I was there times where people would be yelling for Kubiak to come in. You know, Elway wasn't always great. He had some really bad games.
We saw the Super Bowls.
Yeah, and you know, he would rely on his physical ability, but he's not a art of the position like a Peyton Manning is.
Right.
And you know, so yeah, it was some interesting years. And
Tom Jackson
and now,
out there too, right?
What's that?
We out there when Tom Jackson?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
TJ was there with the Orange Crush.
Right.
And actually, this defense kind of reminds me of the Orange Crush because they can dominate.
Right.
The Orange Crush was a little better defense going in the Super Bowl with great players, a lot of Ohio players.
Yep.
You know, but you know, both teams, their defense have got to show up. If the defenses show up, they got a shot.
Good to see you, Doug.
Thanks.
Doug Houston, thanks for stopping by. Maybe we'll
You
see you in
bet.
the playoffs.
All right, maybe.
All right, so if this is true, this is another monumental moment in this program. Is it true that Julie Dolan is standing by with the social media aspect of all this?
Hello.
Julie Dolan,
yes.
welcome. You will never have a more important or a more impressive part of your resume than what this is right now. Don't blow it.
Especially when it comes to talking sports. You got the right girl here. Kidding. All right, well, hey, okay, so this is actually a funny tweet that I found, and I hope you guys agree. This was after the Broncos scored one of their touchdowns. I don't know, can you read it from where you are?
Oh. Too soon.
That's too soon. Too soon. All right. Well, here's something else that you guys can actually talk about. So there's an ESPN writer who said that he saw a tweet that really made him start thinking, and the tweet said basically that maybe the primetime curse against the Bengals isn't actually all on Andy Dalton. But he said, so what is it? Is it the coaching? Is it stage fright? Is it just bad luck? I mean, or is it Dalton?
Yeah,
Did you guys ever think it was?
well, everyone thinks it's Dalton.
But he didn't even play, right? So
no, he didn't play.
That kind of debunks that.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and I think now that Dalton's out and he's losing, or the Bengals have lost, I think probably what we'll see is more of a onus on Marvin Lewis, maybe. You know, I don't know. We'll see what the fans say.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of love for Marvin Lewis on Twitter. A lot of people saying, you know, he led us off to a great start, and then deeper into the season, another letdown.
Right.
I mean, is the coach really to blame in situations like this? You know how people like to mouth off on Twitter, and people will blame pretty much anything for a loss.
Right. Exactly.
I got a tweet from a dude last night. He said, I really like this team. I thought it was going to go 12-4. I'm done. I'm like, dude, they're going to be 13-3. They're going to the playoffs. You're done? Really? And it's somebody else tweeted me last night, and he said, A.J. Green is to blame for this loss. He always disappears in the second half. And I'm like, somebody's got to throw him the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave up.
Right.
I don't know if he gave up on the route or he didn't think it was going to be there or whatever, but it's like, that's not the reason why they lost this game.
I lean a little bit more toward the coaching staff. You take like I said, you take the foot off the pedal. You know, some injuries to blame maybe, but everybody's got injuries this time of year. You know, you got to put people in the right places.
Well, I don't need Hugh Jackson trying to prove that he's the smartest guy in the room.
Exactly.
I think he's a smart guy. I think he's a good offensive coordinator. You don't have to prove it to me. You don't have to have these exotic formations and have run. They're down now. Just think about this, Julie. They're down there inside the 5, up 7-0. They're moving the ball downfield, ba-boom, 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 and all of a sudden he takes A.J. McCarron out and runs a wildcat with Sanu. If something happened on that play, what do you think people will be saying about Hugh Jackson today?
Right.
I don't get it.
Well, yeah. I mean, she brings up a good point, you know. I just think this is a team game, and I think Dalton's taken too much heat for all of this for too long, you know. So I just wonder, they lose like this. I mean, what is their mindset in the locker room? They basically lost a playoff game last night. I mean, there was a lot on the line. They were the only game on, you know, their primetime jinx, whatever you want to call it. But they continue to have issues with it, and it's Dalton didn't play.
I went back and did research. I talked about the running attack and all that. All right, so they played Denver to within 3 last night and lose in overtime. They played Arizona to within 3, and they lose at the gun. Those are probably two teams that, if you look at them right now, Arizona more so, they're two teams that have legitimate Super Bowl credentials.
Yeah, we're hanging with every team. It's
right,
true.
and it's like people are lighting me up saying, oh, well, you're happy with a participation medal. No, I'm not. I'm just saying you've got to put all this stuff in context.
But you know what you were saying earlier, what it comes down to is the W. We want wins. This underdog city, you know, we're tired of it. It's nice to be the underdog, but we need some wins. We need some victories.
Right. What else are people saying there, Julie?
Well, did you see this already? The McCarron suffered the sprained wrist, no fracture. Still a chance he plays Sunday. He says he wants to play. We'll see.
I don't know
That
if you know.
In right now, and people are now commenting on that, saying, "Don't even bother." Last night showed that he's not worthy. But what else do they got?
But see, I think McCarron's a good quarterback. I think he has the ability to be a really good quarterback. So there's Marvin's dilemma. The only way he gets better is to play. But do you run the risk of playing him and getting hurt again and not being available for the first week of the playoffs when you're probably not going to have Dalton? See, I don't.
There's no crystal ball here, though, Ken. You got to play.
Did you
I
think
agree.
last night, too, in that press conference, did he seem emotional when he said, you know, it's my fault? Was he kind of choking up there?
I mean, I don't know. I'm happy he said it, but it's
So
like
am
we
I.
all know it's your fault. You dropped the ball. You know?
I felt bad for him.
Tears.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
There's no crying in football. Thank you, Julie.
No problem.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
I don't know. So I think they beat Baltimore. I think, Satin, you could quarterback them on Sunday and they beat Baltimore. I do.
I'm waiting for the call.
And they finished 13-3. I think Denver wins. I think Denver gets the number 2 seed. I think Cincinnati opens the playoffs against Pittsburgh.
Ouch.
I think Pittsburgh beats Pittsburgh beats Cleveland. I think the Jets lose.
You want them in there.
No, I don't. But I mean, I'm looking at all of the probabilities here.
Yeah.
I think Rex Ryan has been waiting for this game ever since his team got eliminated. And I think Pittsburgh is much better than what they played at Baltimore. I think they railroad the Browns, and I think that's what happens. I think in 2 weeks you're going to get Pittsburgh at Paul Brown Stadium for round 1 of the playoffs. What do you think, Brian?
I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I would like to see the Jets, although we've been knocked out of the playoffs by the Steelers and the Jets in the last 5 or 6 years, both. So
there's no weak teams. I mean, like, who do you want? Like,
I'd rather see
the Browns
Jets.
aren't making the playoffs. We can't have them.
But the Jets, I think, are number 3 or 4 on the power rankings this week.
Yeah.
Which with a bullet.
Yeah, and they are playing hot. So
it's going to be a tough game. No matter what, it's going to be a tough game. I really don't like facing the Steelers ever. So.
But by the way, this is the 2-minute drill. So, Brian, you think that the Bengals, I'm trying to not putting words in your mouth, but do you think the Bengals win and the Jets win?
I would love to see the Jets win. I would rather play the Jets than the Steelers.
Well, I'd love to play third base for the Yankees.
Okay.
But, I mean, what do you think?
I think the Jets will win.
Okay. Mike?
I think the Jets win too. And I think we'll win.
And what about Denver?
Denver, I think they'll win. I just think San Diego sucks.
Yeah, they do.
You know.
Rob, what do you think? You've been silent through this whole thing.
Silent Bob over here.
Come on, Rob.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
He likes the Jets.
Okay.
But, I think there's something to be said, too. One of the reasons you don't want to play Pittsburgh is because they just know you too well.
Yeah.
I mean, the division, you play them twice every year. And
I think they'll beat them up. I think the Steelers' front 7 will beat them up. But I think if McCarron's got any time, he'll get to that secondary in Pittsburgh.
One thing is, if we do lose a playoff game, I don't want it to be the Pittsburgh. Can you imagine?
This is what my son said at Christmas dinner. You ready for this?
Yeah.
He said, this is what's going to happen. He said, A.J. McCarron is going to he said he's going to beat Denver and he's going to beat Baltimore. And then in the first round of the playoffs, Andy Dalton comes back and starts, throws 5 picks, and we have a quarterback controversy in this town for the next 6 months.
Well, we have that same scenario here if because we're not going to get that bye, McCarron's going to have to play a playoff game. What if McCarron wins the first playoff game and Dalton loses the second playoff game?
Right, exactly, which would be against a better team, you would think, in round 2 of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to happen.
There's only one way to do this.
Super Bowl.
You go the distance and we don't lose another
win
game.
The whole
last night we got it out of our
thing.
systems.
Libby, what do you think happens this week? Bengals, Steelers, and Jets, and Denver for that matter. What do you think?
I will agree with the greater football minds that I am surrounded by.
And Johnny Manziel?
And obviously the Browns will upset everybody.
But you want to party with him.
Right.
What do you think, Satin?
I think, I think Manziel puts the 4 Loco down for a night. I think he goes in there and beats.
How 1990s is that?
Hey, that was an Ohio State guy, right? That made that 4 Loco stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
That is pretty old school, though.
Yeah, right.
Hey, like I said, let's. There's only one thing left to do. I think Major League said it, and let's win the whole thing.
Win the whole thing.
Whole freaking
So
thing.
last night we put it behind us. I don't care who comes here. We're going to win. And you know what? I think it's McCarron that takes us that way.
Should we get one of those peel-offs?
Yes.
Maybe we could peel off your satin coat for every win?
Yeah. See what's under the garment?
No, let's not. No. Do we have time for Satin's video?
Yeah, why don't? Yeah, the premiere.
Satin has got a brand new video that debuted last night on Channel 9 on your side. And it's called, what is it called? Who Day?
It is Who Day all day.
Who Day all day. So take a look at what might be taking. Do they still run videos on VH1?
I hope so. This could easily be number 1 on VH1 Classic.
Right, could be. Could rival anything Richard Marx has ever done.
Oh,
Here it is.
yes.
Who Day all day.
Ooh, it's game day, son. It's time to get that orange and black satin and attack. Time to get that B on the hat. Let's get it. The tiger pack, the jungle's our domain. Scratch and claw, we stand tall. The Bengals move the chains. All the foes in the AFC, they try to perpetrate. On the ground or through the air, we've come to dominate. Who they? Who they all day? Who they? Who they all day? Who they? We got a gunslinger, the bell ringer, and a hands-on lock for days. On the ground, so profound, we leave them in a daze. Big boys on the line in a lights-out defense mode. Tickets in hand, and now we can drive to the promised land. Super Bowl! Who they? Who they all day? Who they? Who they all day? Who they? On the way to a Bengals touchdown. First down, on the way to a Bengals touchdown. First down, on the way to a Bengals touchdown. First down, on the way to a Bengals touchdown. Who they? Who they all day? Who they? Who they all day? Who they? Who they?
Really?
Copyright?
That's beautiful.
It's all original.
It's great.
It's all original.
It is. It's wonderful, isn't it?
No smoke and mirrors were harmed.
No.
Woo! Zero.
It's kind of Curtis Flo-esque.
Yes. So that
Curtis Flo.
Yeah. We really challenged ourselves and our demographic of where do we need to go.
Right.
Where in the space do we need to go to hit the biggest mark with our fans?
You know what?
And we delivered.
There's an album cover for
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah,
The maxi single.
This is ready to go big time.
Yeah. Meantime, the Sugar Hill Gang saying, "Damn, I'm glad that wasn't out in the '80s. We would have been nothing." Thank you, Satin.
They would have lost.
Look good.
We appreciate it.
That's the show for today. We're back on next Monday as we get ready for the playoffs. And right here, remember, 365, 24/7. All of these shows available on WCPO.com. That's the Flying Pigskin for now. We'll see you after the Bengals and Ravens next Monday at 1 o'clock. Tell your friends about us because we have them.
We need them.